Hello and thank you for joining us today on Weather Out West. I'm meteorologist Adam Claiborne. Here is what we're tracking for you this morning. A weather combo that increases fire danger. Gusts hitting 55 miles per hour and humidity dropping to just 14%. The weather warning now in effect for Denver. New drone footage captures the aftermath of Typhoon Halong. Destruction in Alaska. The latest in recovery efforts. Plus, Mexico is still reeling after a flood killed 72 people. The rescue efforts and their president's new promise. And a look at how drones are helping sprout new life in areas impacted by wildfire. Hello and welcome to Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. Right now, we're tracking some very gusty conditions in Denver. We already talked about the low humidity, too. That's there creating the fire risk that we are dealing with. Meteorologists Kathy Sabin and Katie LaSalle at the latest.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin, and we are really setting up to see kind of a dangerous weather picture for today with the approach of a system coming in from the northwest. Gusty winds out of the southwest will shift northwest, and we could see gusts of 50 miles per hour. It's extremely dry, so with the windy conditions, humidity values are going to drop to 10 and 15% along the Front Range, and we have a red flag warning out, a fire weather warning, as this system crosses northern Colorado and moves rapidly to the north and east of us. It's a fast-moving area of low pressure that will bring in a front and slightly cooler air. High pressure sets up behind it, then the winds shift out of the northwest, and they will ease a bit tonight. Temperatures on Sunday started in the 20s. At least low temperatures tonight, not quite that chilly, in the mid-30s and lower 40s, with the heaviest precipitation and showers that might impact travel from Minneapolis to Chicago into New York and Washington. That red flag warning is out for Denver, the I-25 corridor west and south of the metro area, extending down to Trinidad and east to Kit Carson. The red flag warning out for critical fire weather from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday, with relative humidity values to 15% and gusty winds to 50 miles per hour. Some of the worst of the wind will be found over elevated terrain, shifting, as I mentioned, from the southwest coming in out of the northwest. And there's enough cold air that we may have a little bit of light snow in the northern and central mountains before lunchtime today. No advisories for snow or travel, but certainly something to keep an eye on, and it might impact you if you're headed up to Steamboat, Craig, or Meeker this afternoon. We will start in the 40s, warm to the lower 60s, extremely windy today, critical fire weather, a little calmer Tuesday and Wednesday, chance for a few light showers Thursday, and then a nice warming and drying trend heading into next weekend. Next Saturday, we're back to sunshine and 70 degrees.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle, and on this Monday, October 20th, we have seen some very gusty winds impacting Colorado, and we will continue to see elevated fire danger for today. So I want to break down exactly what that means when a red flag warning is issued. It's in effect until 6 o'clock this afternoon for a big portion of the plains. Northwest winds sustained at 25 to 35 miles per hour, as well as gusts up to 55 miles per hour will be possible. You want to avoid outdoor burning. If a fire were to spark, it could spread rapidly. So what are the components of a red flag warning? Well, typically we need to see very gusty winds and then low relative humidity. Today, relative humidity as low as 14% likely from the Denver metro area into the foothills and over the eastern plains of our state. Low relative humidity combined with low fuel moisture could spread that fire if it were to spark across portions of the state when those winds really pick up steam. And we will continue to see very sustained winds, as mentioned, 25 to 35 miles per hour. And you can see that here on our wind gust forecast. So again, just practice caution. Hold on to your hats. And then, as you can see, as we get into later on this afternoon, still around 3 o'clock, we are dealing with some strong winds, but later on this evening, it will gradually calm down, at least for the metro area and eastern plains. Our northern Front Range mountains and foothills, which picked up a little bit of precipitation early this morning, will also calm down. Clear skies, dry conditions. Why is this occurring? Well, we have an area of low pressure to our north, an associated cold front bringing in those gusty winds. Any snow in the mountains has tapered off as of this afternoon, and then a ridge of high pressure set to build back in across the region. In the wake of the system with that cold front, it will be colder. We did see our first freezing temperature out of the airport early Sunday morning again here across the metro area up north through Fort Collins and east across portions of the plains. A freeze warning will take effect. Temperatures between 28 to 34 degrees, and in Denver we're expecting a low of 33. So it's that time of the year you want to have the sprinklers blown out, protect any sensitive vegetation, bundle up. In the morning we'll see sunshine, but at least for the afternoon it will be calmer, upper 60s, and sunshine returns for both Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons.
All right, well, things are looking very active there in Denver. Things looking a lot quieter as you head farther south and to the west, down into the desert where Phoenix is seeing that perfect weather that many of them like to get to here during this time of the year. The heat is gone and it looks like a lot of sunshine and 80s on the way down that way in the area. Meteorologist Jen Wall has the details.
Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Jen Wall. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Monday morning temperatures across Arizona. It is another cool start to our standards anyway, especially up north. Freezing in Flagstaff, a few degrees below right now at the Grand Canyon. Low 40s, Window Rock, mid to upper 40s from Payson to Sedona, Prescott. 67 right now in Phoenix and across your valley cities. Take a look. So the warmest spots, Phoenix, Tempe, of course. But once you get outside of the airport area, Sky Harbor, you can see out to the east, upper 50s, Queen Creek, Santan Valley, low 60s west, Avondale, Goodyear, upper 50s Buckeye. So this is a few degrees warmer than where we wrapped your week on Friday. Wondering how the start of your week's going to be? Yeah, pretty quiet across the state. Northern Arizona, you have the best chance for action as we kick off your week. That's not going to happen just yet, though. So you can expect to be in the upper 60s in northern Arizona, low 70s for the White Mountains the next couple of days with sunshine. Now by Wednesday, that's when we could see some showers, maybe in the high country. We're continuing to track that. For the deserts, though, southern Arizona, western Arizona, it looks like we'll be in the low 90s, upper 80s for the next 3 days with some passing clouds tomorrow and Wednesday. So what that means for you, your weather headlines today. This is a quieter weather pattern, average to slightly above average daytime highs. And when we say that, we just mean by about a couple degrees. So this is pretty typical weather. We're watching for, again, the middle of the week, Wednesday, for those high country shower potentials. Right now, your satellite radar is pretty clear. Over the last several hours, we had a few high clouds over northern Arizona. Those have moved off to the east or dried up. So taking a look at your futurecast, we're pausing it this evening, 5:30, clear skies. It's going to be a clear sunset for you tonight. And then by tomorrow morning, you see that moisture starting to come up from the south, making its way to central Arizona rim country. So high today in Phoenix, average is 88. We're looking at a high of 89. So just about a degree above. How that'll shape up, a few more hours today spent in the 80s, about noon to, I would say, around 6 p.m. Before that, though, starting off your morning in the 60s, ending around 8 p.m. in the upper 70s. Flagstaff, very chilly, but once the sun comes up, so do the temperatures. So upper 30s, 7 a.m. by 9 a.m. mid 50s and then upper 60s this afternoon. Temperatures statewide today, 92 Gila Bend, 90 Quartzsite, 92 Parker, upper 70s Prescott, Sedona, Winslow, 68 Flagstaff, and 79 in Globe. Valley cities, 87 Sun Lakes, Chandler, Queen Creek, 89 Phoenix, again Glendale, 88 Surprise, and 90 for Goodyear and Buckeye. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll hit the low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. That's a few degrees above average with those passing clouds, but after that, storm passes high country. We drop temperatures below average by Thursday to wrap the week. We're pretty much normal heading into the following the last weekend rather before Halloween. And then take a look at your Flagstaff 7-day. Okay, here you go. Upper 60s today, tomorrow. That slight chance for storms Wednesday. And then we just stay in the 60s nice and quiet to wrap the week and kick off the weekend.
Almost downright perfect there in Phoenix. All right, so newly released drone footage out of Alaska shows widespread flooding after Typhoon Halong. It also shows damaged homes scattered across the village of Kipnuk. About 1,800 residents were displaced with the worst flooding in the lower tundra. Evacuees were airlifted to Anchorage. Dozens of people were rescued. Last Friday, Governor Mike Dunleavy announced plans for state officials to begin assessing the extent of the damage from the ground.
All the people wanted was help. The people that are out there, they're very concerned about making sure their communities stay intact. They're worried about what the future is going to look like, and that's a discussion we're all going to have. But again, very positive attitudes. We're going to get them the help.
In addition to residents, dozens of dogs were also rescued from Kipnuk and flown to Bethel after Typhoon Halong. Now, Bethel Friends of Canines, a nonprofit animal rescue, has saved more than 70 dogs after the residents in Kipnuk were told to evacuate and leave the pets behind. With the help of air services including Ryanair, Grants Aviation, and Northern Air Cargo Group, the group chartered the planes to fly the dogs about 85 miles to safety. Around 30 dogs have already been reunited with their owners as the organization continues its efforts. Crews in Mexico are searching for at least 4 dozen people still missing after deadly flooding and landslides last week. Mexico's president said that Friday at least 72 people have died. Victims say humanitarian aid is slowly arriving in impacted areas. The damage is immense. The Army and Navy are racing against time to reach 90 isolated communities cut off by landslides and flooded roads. Amid the rubble, the military has been using heavy machinery to remove debris. President Claudia Sheinbaum promised her government won't spare any resources to help the victims and rebuild devastated areas. Her administration has approved more than $1 billion for recovery efforts.
Tenemos un plan.
We have a plan to restore communications.
Authorities warned it would take weeks to restore full access to some of the hardest hit areas. All right, after this, we're going to be making our way back into the lower 48 and talking about more of your forecasts here across the western U.S. We'll be back. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are now going to head up to the Pacific Northwest and hit the city of Seattle, where, in true Pacific Northwest fashion here during this time of the year, things are looking to be cloudy and somewhat rainy, maybe a few sunbreaks around. Meteorologist Rich Myriad has the details.
Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Myriad, and it was kind of a stormy Sunday around western Washington. We had some heavy showers, we had some thunderstorms that rolled through, we had some brilliant sunshine in between, but also some gusty winds out there with some spotty power outages as well. So it was a full day on Sunday, but much quieter today. You can see on the live Doppler radar this morning, we do have just a couple showers over the interior. There are showers off the coast. It's a little weak system that's headed primarily into British Columbia. It's going to brush by today, and the main effect is going to be to maintain a risk of a few of the showers around Puget Sound, as we head towards this afternoon and evening, it may shift a little bit more to the north than what we're seeing now. And it has just been kind of hit or miss showers for that morning commute, not really impacting it significantly. Looking out for Everett Tower Cam, kind of a dreary looking October day, but it's not staying that way everywhere. We had some breaks in the overcast there earlier, and you can see down around Avante High School in the South Sound there in Olympia, seeing the sun coming out and highlighting the fall colors that are showing up in all the trees right now around Puget Sound. Our first alert 7-day forecast. We get a little bit of a chance to catch our breath today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Not a lot going on. Should dry out tomorrow with partly sunny skies, but then we get a system moving in which is going to turn it fairly wet later Thursday into Friday. Might be a little breezy in spots. And then we have an atmospheric river that kind of moves through here with a series of waves along that river that's going to be giving us rain at times and blustery winds over the weekend. Not expecting major impacts like in terms of flooding or such, but we'll definitely see a very wet weekend, and it will be a little breezy at times for sure. Take a look at our forecasts that are coming up. It's a very busy sports day in Seattle once again, though this is actually the forecast for Toronto for tonight at 8:10 Eastern time. It's going to be a little cool in the ballpark compared to what the Mariners are used to. It's going to be upper 40s and low 50s. It looks like pretty much through the game, dropping down to the mid to upper 40s if it goes a little longer. And if you're headed to T-Mobile Park for the watch party tonight, well, it's going to be a little bit warmer, but you will have cloudy skies out there, that risk of a shower. So So they may have the roof closed tonight just so nobody has to worry about it for watching that on the Jumbotron there. And temperatures should be near 60 degrees when we start off the game, and then by the end of the game, and the Mariner wind, temperatures should be down into the mid-50s. And if you're headed just across the street over to Lumen Field for the Seahawks on Monday Night Football, which you can watch right here on King 5 at 7 o'clock tonight, you're going to be looking, well, if you're headed out to do a little tailgating before the game, plan on taking the rain gear out there because there's going to be a few showers around, but temperatures should be in the upper 50s to near 6 o'clock to near 60 degrees, and then we're going to be looking for those temperatures dropping into the mid 50s during the course of the game. Looking at the satellite image, you can see that little weak system that's going to be moving north of us today, maintaining that chance of showers. There's a little bit of high pressure embedded in there that will move through Tuesday to give us just a partly sunny day, but kind of lined up out here in the Pacific. This system is going to probably push in on Wednesday, giving us a round of rain, and then tucked around the corner there is that area of a little atmospheric river that's going to be pushing in here with some ripples on the back of it, keeping it kind of moving through with rain pretty much through the weekend and those gusty winds I was talking about. If we take a look at the computer model, you can see for today, pretty much keeping it up to the northwest and the north of us. And then as we head into Tuesday, we do get a chance to dry out pretty much. And moving on into Wednesday, you can see by afternoon on Wednesday, we're going to see that rain beginning to move in. Just a quick hit of rain out of this one. It moves right on through, and it's going to be giving us a chance of just seeing a little bit of a break maybe on Thursday with just a couple showers before we get into that wet pattern that's going to stick with us through the weekend. Temperatures today, well, we're going to be mostly in the mid to upper 50s Everett northward, and then once you get down south of Everett, those temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. Tomorrow we're going to be seeing partly sunny, temperatures right around 60 degrees. Wednesday, increasing rain in the afternoon, a little warmer though with that in the upper 50s and low 60s. Initially a little warm front moving in. Thursday, partly sunny, just a couple showers, and then rain at times basically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to be looking for it to be gusty winds with that as well. Temperatures Friday in the upper 50s. Snow levels will be probably around 5,000 feet Friday, but then drop down to about 3,500 to 4,000 feet for Saturday and Sunday with rain and continued rainy and breezy conditions. It does look like we do dry out a bit as we head into the first part of next week.
All right, some dry times, but it looks like a lot of rain ahead too, and it will be interesting to see if that mountain snow materializes, and we get quite a bit up that way around Seattle. All right, we're going to head down I-5 and head to Portland with meteorologist Rod Hill, but before we do that, check this out. The West Coast Giant Pumpkin Regatta took place in Tualatin, Oregon yesterday. Crowds came out for games, food, beverages, and of course, the pumpkin boat races. Costumed competitors paddled in giant hollowed-out pumpkins. And yes, they're real.
Yes, it's amazing. And I would love to see how long it takes them to carve it out.
Right?
It's fun to see them tip, too, and they're always good sports, so it's fun.
Organizers also had live performances throughout the day, including the Tualatin High School Marching Band, a clown, and check this out, dancing witches. All right, now we're going to head down and talk about that forecast in Portland, as they are also expecting to see rain, maybe some drier times than what Seattle is noticing. But meteorologist Rod Hill will have the forecast for you right now.
On what's turning out to be a nice Monday morning from Portland, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. We had a few lingering showers down here this morning, but for the most part, that stuff's all gone, and our live cameras are generally showing increasing sun. And if you look at the weather pattern, the clouds and the weather system starting to go up around us to the north, which gives us generally dry weather today, tomorrow, and also into much of Wednesday. By the way, before I show you this graphic, 0.8 of an inch of rain fell in Portland over the weekend. And this graphic behind me shows for a third weekend in a row, we are tracking a suspected strong rainmaker cold front to be coming in. I'm highlighting this on a Monday because it's going to be potentially wetter than the previous two, and most importantly, colder, which will bring snow levels for the first time, we think, down to Cascade Pass in terms of enough snow for there to be a travel impact. So the current timing, and obviously it's Monday and this could change, but the current timing is Friday morning hitting our coast. Oregon coast could wake up Friday morning to 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Rain much of the day Friday, much of the day Saturday. And here's the reason I'm really bringing this to your attention so early. Snow levels Saturday right from the get-go, 3,500 to 4,000 feet. If true, That would be sticking snow at Government Camp, our pass on Mount Hood, throughout the day, and there would be 6 to 8 inches of snow potentially fall, and that would mean chains required and or traction tires and winter driving really for the first time this season over the Oregon Cascades. Here's, I want to back up because I want to show you this map. Okay, here we go. Watch the numbers. These are the early rain projections for what will fall. Generally, this is Friday night, Saturday into Sunday morning. And look at this. Love's well over 2 inches at the coast. It gives over 3 for Astoria. Love's well over 1 inch of rain in the valley, including Portland and Salem. Remember, this past weekend we saw 0.8 of an inch of rain, so obviously this would be more. Now this next map, which I have not shown a snow map so far this fall, I've got one for you today. This shows 6 inches up at Mount Hood Pass level, Government Camp, 18 up at Rainier, 20 inches of snow by the time you get down to Willamette Pass, which is at 5,000 feet, and some decent snow amounts over Anthony Lakes out east as well. Okay. Our live cameras, I mentioned, starting to show increasing sun. Schnookwan's Casino Resort in Lincoln City. Been clear this morning up over Mount Hood, and yes, this is new snow. Generally 5 to 6 inches fell over our weekend down to about 5,000 feet. Did not get down to pass level. It will this coming weekend if the models don't change. Kind of foggy now over Salem. This had sunshine, but with temperatures falling off because of the early sun, fog has developed. And we have breaks in the cloud cover over downtown Portland. That's a Pioneer Park building camera. Generally, it's a nice afternoon, partly to mostly sunny. Temperatures statewide, 50s to 60s in Central Oregon and getting up into the 60s here in the valley as well. So Portland 7 days, 62 today, 66 tomorrow. We may or may not see a late day shower Wednesday. We catch the tail end of a passing front. Thursday, I'm not sure if rain develops before the day ends or does the rain hold off until Thursday overnight. And then comes that wet system with that next strong front. A rainy Friday, a rainy Saturday, and right now sun and scattered showers expected on Sunday.
All right, I'm sure a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest, especially those skiers and snowboarders, are licking their chops for the upcoming snow that we might have heading into the weekend. All right, so when we come back, we are going to take a look at how drones are helping ranches recover from wildfires, a program for Columbia from Columbia Gorge Community College in Oregon is putting drones to work. We'll have a look at that when we get back. All right, drones are helping to sprout new life. Now, they're helping ranches recover from wildfires. A program from Columbia Gorge Community College in Oregon is putting drones to work in the Tide Valley area. Portland's Tim Gordon gives us the look.
A fast-moving wildfire in July of 2024, the Larch Creek Fire, tore into the area around Tide Valley, ultimately burning more than 18,000 acres of brush, trees, and fields. Damage to the landscape can take years to heal, but a year later, there's help.
So in this particular thing is about 12 different seeds.
Reseeding with native grasses and plants on ranch lands in the burned area.
I've been in aviation for well over 50 years.
Mike Davis is a multi-skilled pilot with a PhD in aeronautical engineering.
It's just part of my life. It's what I do.
And these days, his big focus is drones that are getting the job done in ways you may not realize. The reseeding here is done with a 55-pound drone that can hold at least that much in seed.
Aircraft preparing to take off. Stand back at a safe distance.
An unmanned aircraft doing serious business. Davis first flies a different drone to determine the area to reseed, then uses GPS technology to deliver the seed exactly where it's needed.
It's a tool for trade, so it's not only done in agriculture, but it's in construction, in survey, engineering. We see drones everywhere now.
Davis says the program here is a collaboration between ODF&W and ranchers in the area to get these lands ready again for grazing. Davis is a professor at Columbia Gorge Community College, where they've developed a precision agriculture program. And yes, it relies heavily on the use of commercial drones to do work that was previously done by hand or airplane, like you see in this fruit orchard.
It just makes it quicker, better, and it makes a better return on investment.
Back around Tide Valley, it's a battery change and a refill of native seed. That job is performed by the director of marketing for the college, who enjoys taking it on.
I've got it down to under 3 minutes. That's kind of a new record for me today. And so just like plop that in, fill it back up, turn it back on, and we're up in the air again.
No time to waste on a cool and breezy fall day. Putting down seed that will settle in for winter and starting next spring, sprout and grow, giving these grasslands new life.
Yeah, that's dumping seed like crazy.
Yeah, that's like I said, I can see it from here.
All thanks to technology and modern flying machines.
You get the results. And the result is that it's cost effective and we're doing a good job and we're not even stomping on the soil.
I know this has a lot of value utility-wise and everything else, but is it also kind of fun?
Oh, it's fun. It really is.
Fun and effective here and in many parts of the Pacific Northwest.
Simple as that. It's easy.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Really neat stuff right there. All right, so we're going to head out east and we're going to give you forecasts from Spokane and from Boise. Make sure to keep it right here. Thank you for sticking with us here on Weather Out West. We have more forecasts and stories for you this back half hour. But first, you must resume your forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington, where things are quiet, but also maybe a bit foggy here over these next few mornings.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. Had kind of some wild weather this past weekend. A ton of rainfall, especially Saturday night, and a bit more wind on Sunday. Since then, things have already calmed into Monday morning. Winds much calmer, rain in the rearview mirror. We'll see a lot more sunshine and honestly some pretty nice weather for mid-October standards. The highs will likely be in the 50s and a few days in the 60s. It's another rainy weekend ahead. I think this will end up being the third straight Sunday with rain, or the third straight weekend of rain overall. But yesterday's rain and wind has cooled us off a bit into this morning as temperatures are running about 5 degrees lower compared to even just 24 hours ago. So a bit of a cold morning. Certainly quite a strong cold front, which, by the way, is already over the Dakotas right now, and it swept through Sunday morning for eastern Washington. So that's the speed that storm system had. That's why we had some decent wind gusts yesterday in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range across eastern Washington, though things have calmed down. Just a gentle westerly or southwesterly wind as of this morning, enough to put a wind chill factor into the air, but not enough to really be anything too impactful. Just a little bit of some drifting cloud cover. We'll call it partly cloudy for the inland Northwest as of right now for today, as our fall colors have reached the peak of the season. All this red representing now peak fall foliage. Only the warmest belts of the inland Northwest still about a week away. That would be Lewiston, Idaho, and Moses Lake, Washington. These spots tend to be a little bit warmer and tend to lag a little bit behind the rest of the region in terms of the fall colors. But it looked beautiful from this past weekend. Quite a bit of those leaves were dropping down with the winds come yesterday. But since things will be pretty much calm, we should enjoy almost a full week of the best fall colors. Even today, the afternoon temperatures hitting the mid-50s, which is almost exactly average, by the way. Average is 55, forecast is 54. Average low temperature 36, forecast is 36. That's about as spot on average as it can get for October 20th. Should stay pretty pleasant across the Northwest for the week ahead. Big ridge in the jet stream will actually bump temperatures up a notch or two. So we're looking at some low 60s starting Wednesday. The weekend ahead could be a completely different story. When that huge trough swings through, we will initially get some rainfall Friday night in Spokane. And now you see just how widespread that rain and mountain snow is across the region on Sunday. This snapshot you see here is actually Sunday evening, probably the most likely time frame for rainfall. Now, those precise details as to what moments of the weekend will be the most wet will be the moments to be determined. I think the overall weather pattern is really leaning in this direction. Slightly cooler weekend, so with Sunday appearing to be the wetter and colder of these 2 days in Spokane. Just another Sunday rainfall. Of course, we almost had a full inch of rain from Saturday night from this past weekend, so it could be a second straight soaking weekend for Spokane. In the meantime, the winds have calmed down this morning and the sunshine is out today.
A lot of clear skies there over the next few days, but that system coming in for the weekend, we talked about it for Portland and for Seattle. Looks to be impacting there in Spokane, and it looks like it could bring some showers to areas around southern Idaho, closer to Boise. Meteorologist Hector Mendoza has the latest.
Well, we had cool temperatures for our Sunday, and we also had some showers that came along. So let's take a look at what those temperatures stood at there for yesterday here in the Boise area and across southwest Idaho, as we were in the upper 50s there at 59 degrees there for Boise. Most other spots, as we look at Caldwell, Nampa, and even Mountain Home, got into the low 60s. Temperatures were into the 50s, upper 40s for many spots there in the mountains, and then a range between 65 degrees and 71 degrees there for Jerome and Twin Falls. But we're expecting some of these temperatures to continue cool here through today, but we're not expecting much of that precipitation to continue, as we had some of those showers very early on in through our Sunday morning, but most of that start to dry out, and we continued with sunnier skies there through the afternoon, getting close to about a half an inch of precipitation there out in Stanley. So that's what we're expecting here through today, as we continued with some of the cooler temperatures that started to settle in here through today, and we got into the upper 30s early on this morning. So it was a chilly start, and we're expecting some of these temperatures to continue very chilly, possibly below freezing in through tomorrow. Now that's going to vary. It's going to depend also, especially as we look at Boise and the Boise foothills, where we could see a chance to see that some of those winds, if they do not increase as we get through this evening, we do see a chance for some of these temperatures to drop down to below freezing. So that's something we're paying attention to again for Boise and the Boise foothills. But other spots are expected to get down into those sub-freezing temperatures, and that's where that freeze watch is into place till about tomorrow morning. And especially as we look at Twin Falls, we're going to see some of these temperatures get into the low 30s for sure. But again, that system that brought us that rain yesterday is going to leave behind some cool and breezy conditions in through this afternoon. But then as we head on into Tuesday, we're going to see this ridge of high pressure and this system come in, and that's what's going to take over and bring up some of those temperatures, and also start to see drier conditions here. That's going to continue that trend in through at least Friday. But as we start to get in through Friday night, we are going to start to see some changes come along, as we do have a chance to see some rain come along. And this one's going to be, or expected to be, a very significant system that comes in. So we're expecting a little bit more rain to come along for Saturday and Sunday, and it should impact outdoor plans if you have anything planned here for Saturday and Sunday. Now, I do bring up some of these numbers here. Again, we are still a ways away, but I bring up these numbers because this system could bring along a significant amount of snow for the first time this season, as we could see some numbers getting up pretty high as we start to see some of those snow levels drop, and then up into some of those higher peaks. There is a chance, as right now we are seeing a possibility of about a foot of snow in some of these areas as we continue on through this event here that extends on at least in through Monday. So again, most of that looks likely there through Sunday, but again, these numbers could possibly change, or they could stay exactly the same. So we're going to keep an eye on some of these numbers here as we get closer in through the weekend. But for now, as we look at the 7-day forecast here for Twin Falls, temperatures will start to climb up. You see these temperatures here for Tuesday getting down to about 31 degrees there for Tuesday. We're going to see a little bit more of those clouds start to pick up, with temperatures climbing up to near 70 degrees there for Friday. And then we see those temperatures drop into the upper 40s, so not changing too much from some of those morning temperatures through the afternoon, and continuing with some of those showers there in through Sunday. And as we look at the 7-day forecast here for Boise and for what we're expecting here for the Treasure Valley, those temperatures will climb up into the mid 60s there as we look on into Sunday. And then we're going to continue to get to near 70 here for Friday. We'll see that same drop in temperature, but here into the upper 40s there as we look at the morning temperatures, and then we'll see those showers continuing through Sunday.
A lot of people across the Northwest getting excited about mountain snow ahead. All right, so when we get back, we are going to take a look at your forecast down across the Golden State. We're also going to take a look at a couple of comets that could be streaking across your skies after this. Welcome back. So sky gazers are getting a special treat this month as two newly discovered comets make their closest approaches to Earth in a spectacular display. The comets are named C2025 A6 Limon and C2025 R2 Swan. Comet Swan won't reappear for another 650 to 700 years. Limon will remain out of sight for 1,300 years. You can only see Swan in the early evenings, right after the sky gets dark. Right now, those living in the northern hemisphere can see Limon right before sunrise but it will soon become visible only in the evenings. Swan will make its closest approach to our planet today. Limon will swing within 55 million miles of Earth the next day. All right, on to our forecast down across more of the Valley of California as we head our way down to Sacramento, where meteorologist Rob Kalmark has the details.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Rob Kalmark here in Northern California, and it's been a really great stretch of weather. Now, earlier in the week, we had some real rain. We had snow, colder temperatures, and to get that first one in the books is very important. It clamps down on the fire season, it gets the ground wet, and then for our local area, we get lots of natural grasses that start to grow, and it just changes the whole scene. So moving out of that, getting nice weather that's a little bit warmer is actually the perfect scenario going forward. At the coast, we're still staying cool. That ocean is still very cold at the moment, so we're looking at nice, cool, very just great conditions all along the coast. For the valley, just nice. For the foothills, we're done with the showers, and then obviously for the Sierra, we're looking at just great conditions. So when you take a look at October at a glance, obviously one trend sticks out to you, right? It's been nice and below average for a very long time. Now this last weekend, we saw some decent conditions, normal, a little bit above, but this is being very generous, to be honest with you. Our average high is about 78 degrees on that Sunday, and we were 81. So just a little bit above. It's not really hot necessarily, but nice, warm, comfortable. Just a great October. Now, I do want to talk about our fire season because a couple different trends have happened. Sure, we were a little bit more than I would say than last year, about 500,000 acres versus just a little bit under for last year. But look at our 5-year average. We are about half or below half for our normal 5-year average. Now, granted, the 5-year average has been very, very busy. We've had monster fire years. There's just been a number of huge outbreaks, lightning-caused fires, huge complexes. But this last year has been not bad. We've even had more than 7,000 fires, and to show for it, not that many acres burned. Our local smoke situation obviously is clamped way down, so we're in good shape there. Nice, good conditions out there just to start the day on our Monday. And overall, it's just been a really great trend. Now, moving forward, we're going to see high pressure wedge in here and keep things dry and nice for a while. But at this time of year in October, this is our rainy season. So once high pressure starts to see a little bit of movement, lows come in and then bring rain and snow, and that's exactly what we're going to have for this upcoming weekend. Until then, though, we've got great conditions, temperatures in the 70s for the foothills. For the central and southern Sierra, we're looking at solid 70s, just absolutely beautiful conditions, a little bit on the warm side. Once you get inland away from the cold ocean breeze, we're looking at 80s. For the Salinas Valley, and then for the Central Valley and the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, we're looking at solid 80s, 70s, and 60s along the coast. For the Bay Area, it's going to be a mixture of 70s and 80s. I mean, this is literally the best time of year climate-wise for the Bay Area, and that's exactly what we're going to see. For Redding and other spots in the northern end of the Sacramento Valley, it's just going to be sunny and warm, but that's very normal for this time of year. Usually in mid-October, some of the best weather that we have the entire year is about this time, and that's exactly what we're seeing out there. I do want to skip ahead to this weekend because that's when things change. Like I mentioned, once high pressure's in there, great, but once it starts to show any weakness, storms roll in. That's exactly what we're going to see this upcoming weekend, with temperatures dropping to the 60s with rain and snow in our area.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Sacramento looking pretty nice down there. A lot of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. I mean, who would not like that during this time of the year? Now, our next spot is going to be farther south in California. We're going to head down to San Diego. Down there, too, we've been seeing and noticing a lot of sunshine as well, and it looks like things have been looking pretty beautiful as of recently. We do expect things to continue to be pretty nice as we head later on into the week as well. Temperatures will be closer to more of those 70s, possibly up near the 80-degree mark. We'll keep an eye out, though, for some of those extra clouds to work their way on in here. We'll give you a look at that forecast when we get back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to take a look at your forecast down in San Diego where, we are going to see some sun. Going to notice some areas of patchy fog as well, and more of those temperatures, at least in the 70s in a lot of our spots. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz has your forecast.
Well, happy Monday from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. It was a very toasty weekend here in San Diego County, but the good news is we have relief as we look ahead towards the middle of the week, and it's all due to a couple of systems, and we'll explain in a moment. I do want to start off with our weather headlines as we get a new work week going. We were warm. Hopefully people found adequate ways to stay cool. We'll likely have to use those same tactics as we kick off a new work week because we're looking at the heat continuing. The heat peaks today, and then we'll have some subtle cooling. More so for the coastal areas, the inland valleys, and then by Wednesday, we're looking at everyone across the region feeling the cool down. On Wednesday, we'll have onshore flow strengthening, bringing in some patchy fog, maybe some morning drizzle. Overall, it is going to be cool and windy. All right, taking a look at highs for this afternoon, daytime highs will be pretty comparable to what we experienced Sunday. We're talking about mostly mid to high 70s from Oceanside all the way to Carlsbad, and these areas are typically the warmer spots along the coast. A little cooler in our Del Mar neighborhood, 77 this afternoon for downtown San Diego, mostly 80s for interior parts of the county. It's going to be another warm day, so we're really advising anyone who works outside, spending any time outdoors, to make sure that they're staying hydrated and taking frequent breaks in the shade. High 70s this afternoon for Palomar Mountain as well as Julian, and we'll be hitting highs in Alpine at 82 degrees. Meanwhile, the desert areas, that includes Borrego Springs, will be producing highs in the low 90s. So here's that trough of low pressure. Cut off low from the jet stream will center itself over central California, bringing some moisture to the Sierras. It's going to be in and out of here. Thursday and Friday will be in between two systems, allowing for some subtle warming. And then we'll have this secondary trough of low pressure bringing a lot of moisture to the Pacific Northwest. Unfortunately, it really won't do much for us in terms of rain for Southern California, but it will amplify onshore flow again just in time for the weekend. So we were hot last weekend. Looking ahead to this weekend, it's going to be a little bit of a different story, much cooler fall-like conditions. All right, we have a big cool down. That's pretty much the main story of the week. I mean, talk about a big drop in temperatures, especially for inland areas, because when we compare what we're expecting this afternoon versus Wednesday, temperatures are going to be anywhere between 7 to nearly 20 degrees cooler. So this afternoon we'll be in the mid 70s, but looking ahead to Wednesday, we'll be shooting down to the 60s. We'll be in the low 70s by the time we get to Wednesday for interior parts of the county. Meanwhile, mid 80s later on this afternoon. The rain chances slim to none, which is bad because we are in desperate need of rain. In fact, we were downgraded to that severe extreme level for much of San Diego County, which means we're again in desperate need of rain, and also fire danger remains elevated because the vegetation, it's still fairly dry. All right, coastal areas, as I mentioned, the heat peaks this afternoon and then temperatures will drop for Tuesday for the coastal areas, but for the inland areas, not a huge drop tomorrow. It's more on Wednesday where we'll start to feel that noticeable cooling. We'll stay in this direction of the low 70s all the way through Thursday, closer to 80 on Friday, and then we're back in the mid to low 70s by the time we get to the weekend. Here's a quick look at the mountains and deserts 7-day forecast. A couple of days of the 80s, and then we're in the 60s by Wednesday. Desert areas, low 90s, and then we're in the 80s rebounding towards the middle of the week.
Thousands of kids across Oregon are eating local when they step into the cafeteria for lunch. And it's all thanks to a state program and hundreds of local producers. Portland's Christine Pitanowicz has a look at the Department of Agriculture's Farm to School program.
Okay. So right here we have masa. Masa is a corn meal. It's mixed with chilies.
At Salsas Locus in southeast Portland, these workers are whipping up fresh food for local students.
And for schools, we focus on tamales. We also do enchiladas. We do burritos.
Lucy DeLeon owns the business. She says in 2018 she attended a food show and Portland Public Schools approached her. The district became her first customer in the Oregon Department of Agriculture's Farm to School program.
And now we're in about 19 school districts throughout Oregon.
We were the first state to actually have a state-funded farm-to-school program, meaning the legislature actually gave us some funding to help schools buy more Oregon products.
The idea, not only to serve students at roughly 200 schools fresh, locally produced food, but also to support area businesses.
We have about 330 producers that sell into the program across the state, and really it's a very diverse program. So you might be a school that is sourcing, fresh greens from a farmer right down the road, or you may be sourcing Oregon pink shrimp from the coast.
The meat, vegetarian, or breakfast tamales from De Leon's Kitchen also have local ingredients.
From cow farms, the carrots, we also use Tillamook cheese from Oregon, and the Willamette Farm eggs from Oregon too.
This food, a representation of her culture.
And this is how I grew up making them, with my aunts and grandma and all the family.
It's a tradition she's now sharing with others.
That connection and that community is very important. One of the best feelings.
In Southeast Portland, Christine Pinawanich.
It's always special for us.
KGW News.
Okay, everyone, that does it for us here on Weather Out West today. I'm meteorologist Adam Claiborne. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.